Everybody, welcome back to Musings by Nikki. This is Nikki. I'm here today with something a little bit different and special. I have been asked by Gina at Firefly Studio 67 here on YouTube, but also on Etsy as well, Firefly Studio. I'll have all of these women linked below. To participate in kind of a collab challenge called 5 on a Dime. So here's the premise. We are going to be creating a project every month with 5 items chosen by, we have to use 5 items chosen by different people. We're going to take turns choosing and challenging each other to create something with those 5 items. So also participating with me are Martina from Tinkiella and Angela from Angela Kerr, and I will have their videos, or I mean their channels linked below as well. And this is what I have created this month for the first 5 on a Dime challenge. Our 5 items that we have to use are clothespins. So I've got clothespins, safety pins. So I've got that here. Lace. So I've got some different pieces of lace that I used or could use. Paper doily, which I've got right here, just a plain old white, super cheap from the dollar store, I think, paper doily. And then window envelopes, and I collect these now, and I have different sizes, and you can see these are all just literally ones that I've pulled from junk mail. Oh, and buttons. So I also have a couple of my containers of buttons that I can choose from as well. So those are my 5 items. Window envelope, paper doily, safety pin, lace, buttons. So I've got them all here. Window envelope, lace, safety pin, button, and the doily is in the background there. So what this is a pocket that I'm going to actually put on the page of a journal. Let me see if I can just find one here to show you. Here's a signature of a book that I'm working on now, and I've made it just wide enough to fit on the page. That's why the back of this is bright white, because we won't be seeing that ever again. So I didn't worry about making the, aging it or distressing it or anything. So the front I've distressed around the edges and stuff. So this is going to go right onto, pop it onto the front of a signature or something. And let me walk you through what is on here. So I've made it kind of like so that the window envelope, or the window part of the window envelope, is fixed. So you can no longer get things into it. So you couldn't put anything to see behind it, see? So this is a fixed display, if you will. And then in there behind, so then these things pull out, right? And when these pull out, it's just literally a pocket. That's all it is in there, is the, like a pocket. And this is just a piece of coffee stain paper that becomes a journaling card. You could sew it shut or glue it shut and make it another pocket. And then these are just 2 regular tags. So when this goes in, like this, I let the flap come over the front to create that extra kind of look like that. You could, I guess, fix it in there and have it be a second pocket behind here, but it kind of does that anyway with being able to come out. And then these just go in the back behind that. Right? Fun. It was fun to make. It was fun to dream up. I haven't ever used a window envelope before. I've collected them, obviously, but haven't used it. And then I've just got some lace and washi up here, and some lace behind this button that I've sewn on. And then I've got some lace down here and another little snippet that is like attached onto this lace by my safety pin, which has this little bit of muslin tied onto the end of it, and then this button sewn over the top. So I thought we would craft this, because why not, right? It just seems like something fun to do. So we're gonna go ahead and craft through this. So I'm gonna set this up here. And then I think I'm gonna, so because a lot of these other ones, these have smaller windows and I would like the bigger window for this, I'm gonna dream up a way to use the smaller windows. And then this one has writing going right up to the edge, and my edges are kind of exposed for like, you know, a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch on both sides, so that would be in the way and I'd have to put something over it. But this one has a fair amount of space around it, so I think that's the one we're gonna use. So I'm gonna set these over there, out of the way. And the first thing we got to do, so this is still attached on this side, and I'm just going to cut it down to roughly the same size on this side, and I'm just gonna do this with my scissors and go roughly the same. And I'll save this because, you know, we'll make it into a tuck spot or something later. So that's about, yeah, just a little slightly narrower than that one, which works just fine. And then I'm going to cut off the bottom because I sewed around this whole thing, so that kind of reattached it as a pocket, because right now, of course, it's all loosey. And let's see. So I'll go, you know what, you can see the blue writing. So see that blue writing there? You can see it through my lace. I don't want that. So maybe we'll either use a different kind of lace, which I've got lace. Oof. Let's see, right within reach, there's this. You can kind of still see through that. You know what, it might just be something where I'm going to have to put a piece of washi across that to get rid of that. So we'll just keep using this one because I kind of like how it lays flat. So I think what I'm going to do is cut right underneath the blue. Okay. Now, before we do anything, we need to distress this up quite a bit. So let me grab my sheet. And like I said, I'm only doing worrying about the front because the back is going to be glued to a book. I'm just using my vintage photo, and then I'm kind of being careful as I get up to the edges here, because it can, if you get it on here, you can kind of wipe it off, but it will kind of stain it too, and I don't want it on the window. So I'm kind of just swirling it on all heavy like here. The top edge on this one is a little narrower than the top edge on that one, which will make a little bit of a challenge, but it's okay, it'll work. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's mostly covered up by this little flat part anyway. So I've got that aged up. Next, we're going to create the insert piece that goes inside there. So I'm going to get, here we go, just an offcut. Oh, you know what? This is kind of loose right here, so I'm going to glue that down really quick before we do anything else, because I don't want that to... There we go. Ooh, come on. That's better. And then before we do anything else on the inside here as well, I'm going to put some, let's see, I'm going to put some washi, because this has got a little bit of an edge here where that envelope where I just repaired here, and that could make it hard to stick stuff down in there. So I'm going to just put a piece of washi. And you won't even really see this, but it's just going to make it so that it slides over that little lip a little easier. There we go. So we want a piece of, this is just some coffee day, this is offcuts from signatures that I'm putting together right now. And I like this paint color because it kind of goes with the book I'm making. Quite the departure for me. I've been working in the woodland thing for a while here, and I will be soon going back to the woodland in the form of Storybook Woods. But right now I'm taking a brief break and making a very feminine book. Florally. Fun. It's fun. I haven't done anything like this for a while. Okay, so that fills my window. So in here I've got kind of a purple polka dotty background, and then this is that same one, so we have to obviously distress the heck out of this. So I wanted it kind of a vintage green, so I've got my peeled paint Distress Oxide, and I'm gonna go in with a layer of that around the edges. I love this color. This is a newer one for me, and I'm loving it. The Distress Oxides are so fun. They have such a cool, like depending on what you use them on, sometimes they look almost chalky kind of. You can spray them with water, you can do all kinds of fun stuff. All right, and then, so that's very green, but I kind of want it a little darker. So I'm going to go in with my Vintage Photo and just kind of go over the tops of it, and it will catch the ridges and not all of the green will get hidden. And then swirl a little around in the middle here, which some of that will get covered up by the butterfly anyway. All right. I am happy with that. Not too inky on my hands. And that's going to go in between right there. So now you can kind of choose your placement on, like, do you want to see the whole top of the doily? I mean, you could kind of put it in there however you want to. Maybe we'll do it this time. I kind of tried to center it a little, but maybe we'll kind of not center it on purpose this time. Maybe we'll put it down a little so you see just kind of the top part of it. Yeah, okay, so then a butterfly. We're going to put a butterfly. And I have got, these are Tracy Fox's Flutter by Fussy Cut pages. And I want a big one. And this almost looks kind of yellowy. So let's maybe go with this. I don't know. Maybe that one. Kind of like that one. So here's what I do. Because fussy cutting, some days yes, some days no, because of my hands. They just can't handle too much holding the scissors and cutting. So instead, I do this like fussy ripping. Where I kind of just rip around it. But I find this doesn't hurt my hands as much as holding the scissors for extended periods of time. Or I don't pay for it, because sometimes the holding of the scissors is not the problem. It's how my hands feel from the holding of the scissors the next day. You know what I'm saying? Then I pay for it. Then I can't craft. And that's no good. Alright, so I am just using, this is how I do. I use my thumbnail on my left hand to kind of provide the guide of where I want to rip. And then take little tiny rips with my right hand. And it works fairly well. Now we're going to distress that, of course. So more Vintage Photo. While we're distressing, I can take a minute to say thank you, Gina, for coming up with this really fun idea I think sometimes it's nice for us to push ourselves outside of like the box that we get stuck in sometimes. This is a really great way to, if you've lost your crafty mojo, or you kind of just don't have inspiration, or you're stuck on where you're going to go next with things, this is a really great way to get out of that spot. There we go. You can go look at, you know, there's a lot of different kinds of collabs and things like this out there. You can go look at other things and try to figure out, you know, try a couple and then see where you want to go with it next. Okay, so I'm kind of liking how that is. So, except this wasn't quite centered. Up a little. This needs to come over a little. There we go. That is good. So now I'm just going to take my art glitter glue and I'm going to stick this down. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just about centered anyway. I just got my first bottle of art glitter glue, you guys. This precision tip is amazing for things like this, or sticking down little die cuts. Man, used to be such a pain in the behind, because you're trying to get little tiny little leaves and things stuck down and it's like impossible. Or doilies like this, but here, look at this. You know, this is so slick, it just literally goes around these little tiny things. You can lay down these really little strips of glue. It's pretty awesome. And I almost glued that right on top of the envelope, which would not have been smart. Okay. There we go. I'm going to cut off this excess because we don't need it in the thing. You won't even see it. And then let's attach our butterfly. I thought about, when I was making the first one, I thought about adding some lace behind this or some cheesecloth or something, but I'm trying to keep it fairly thin. So, you know, because if this goes on signatures inside of a book, I don't want to bulk things up too much. The buttons and stuff will already be a bit bulky. Alright. So there we go. Important prescription plan information. So there we go. I like how that is so far. So now we need to attach the top side only with some glue because, or you know, I suppose now that I have, so this one didn't open up all the way like this because the bottom was just attached. So the bottom on this one is where the bottom of the envelope was, but this one opens up all the way. So I think what I'll do is, since I can, I'll sew along this top edge too, and then that will make it so that I don't have to worry about gluing it. But if yours doesn't open up because this is the bottom and you can't pull it back that far to sew, what I did on the other one was just run a bead of glue along this top edge here and seal that shut right there. And then I put a piece of washi like I did here. But I think what I'm going to do is sew it. So what I'm going to do off camera, because I'm not going to make you watch this, is I will sew along this top edge with it open like this, and then put it together and sew around the edges. And as I'm doing that, I'm going to sew this lace on, which reminds me we got to cover up that important plan information writing. So let's put some washi. Let's just put some pink down there. Yeah. That covers it right up. I'd rather see pink washi than blue prescription plan writing. Junk mail, gotta love it. Okay, so I'm gonna go sew the top edge while it's open, and then sew the rest of the edges shut, and while I go across the bottom, I'll be sewing this piece of lace on as well, like I did here. Can you see even really? Well, So I sewed down the edge and then came across the lace. This will attach later. So we'll be right back. Hold on a second. Okay, so here we go. I sewed across this top edge. So now the window is like effectively closed, and now it's just a display window. And then I sewed around the edges here, and as I went, I sewed this lace on. So just kind of over that washi there. And there you can see where I went there. Like I said, we don't have to worry about the back. So then let's do the little corner guy here. So I've got a couple little pieces of snippet from like a big doily that I took apart a while ago. And I think we'll use this bigger flower down here. And then the pin is supposed to look like it's holding it on to the lace, but we're not going to actually do that. We're going to glue it on because I want to sew this button through here. So I'm not sewing the button through like all the layers of this envelope. But before we do that, I want to tie something on the safety pin here to create this little extra flare. So let me look at my hot mess tray of scrappy scraps. Let's see if we can find something fun to tie on. Oh, here's a little piece of green. Will that go with it? Kinda. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Let's go with some of this light, kind of ethereal ribbon here. Let's go with a piece of that. So I'm just going to tie that through the safety pin. You can probably barely see what I'm working with on camera. Yeah. Just looks like I'm tying nothing. Goodness. That was harder than it needed to be. And then I'm just kind of sliding it down in between the little coils. I didn't tie it through the little circle, but I slid this down between there just to kind of keep it in place, you know. I'll probably trim those ends off. And then I'm just going to put this through kind of at an angle here. And close it. And then we're going to choose a button. Let's just see inside this one here. You want to go with something that pink? Maybe. That might be. You know, this is, I have a tendency to go with not quite so pink because, but we're going pink in this book. Is that the same size? Yeah. I kind of like these green buttons too, though. Nope, going pink. I'm gonna do it. Just do it, Nikki. I've got my large needle just threaded up with some purple waxed linen, and I am going to, so I'm going to sew this button, and at the same time as I'm sewing it, I'm kind of sewing this safety pin flat as well. So I'm going to sew it so that right as I'm saying, I'm going to sew it so that I leave a tail that I can tie off in front, because I like the little strings tied off in front. I just pulled it right through. I'm going to leave a tail so that I can tie it. There we go. And now this one's got 4 holes to sew through. Ugh. So much work. Okay. Try not to poke myself too bad. Okay. Now I just like to tie these out front. It secures it. it also adds a little detail, and it also means I don't have to worry about trying to stick down, you know, ties behind the button somewhere. They're just out front. And then I'm going to snip off the excess and leave a little tail to be all cutesy. And yep, these this ribbon is making me crazy, so I'm going to cut that down because it's like all over everything. There we go. So that's what we've got for the corner there, and I'm going to just use some 3-in-1 because I ran out of Fabri-Tac, and I don't know, I'm pretty sure these are the exact same thing. I honestly don't see what's the difference between Fabri-Tac and Beacon's 1-3-2-1 or 1-2-3 3-in-1. Oh, you guys. I think they're the same thing. They smell the same, they grab the same, they dry the same. So there we go. Push that, glue it to my mat as I'm gluing it to the page. Okay, I'm going to hold that down for just a sec while I put that glue cover back on. And then I'm going to, so here is, let's make this little envelope thing. Alright, yeah. You could just leave it like this and that would be super fun, and you could stick the tags and stuff in there. But, you know, I like taking things to the next level. These are just some offcuts of some paper that is copy stained with like doilies, but they were mistake papers, which I think is hilarious because I just honestly don't know how that could be, how you could call these a mistake. I love them. So I want to go, I want enough of a lip to come over, but not to block my butterfly. And I want to make sure that it will go deep enough in the pocket to provide me that lip. Does that make sense? I hope so. But it's going to be too wide, so I'm going to need to cut it down about there-ish. Let's see if that works. Yep. And it's going to be just about right on top. Okay, awesome. Not bad for the first, kind of just a guess. I'm going to round off my corners here and here. And then I'm going to put a little thumb hole divot right in the middle just because I like the look of it. Alright, so now with this along the top, here I put some washi, sewed some lace on, and then did another little embellishment in the corner because I think that just adds another layer. So let's do that. I am going to use the same washi because I have it out at hand and I've already got it down there even though you really can't see it. Two layers of washi. Burnish it down the best I can just with my fingernails and trim the edges off. Okay. Now I've got that same lace. I've got a little snippet piece of that same lace. So I'm going to cut that off about there. And I'm going to go sew across this really quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so I sewed across there, and now the lace is attached. And we need another button. And I've got another one that's just the same. So we'll use it. And I've got another little piece of snippet, so we'll use that. And we're just going to put that up here. And I've got leftover thread on here. So I'm going to sew the button through here again. Therefore, I will glue this on again. This is way faster. All of a sudden I thought, am I even sewing through something in the back? Because, you know, lace, lots of holes. But yeah, I must have. They're attached. Okay. So now, cut those little strings off and glue this down. And I'm going to put it in the opposite corner of where this one is. Gotta get some more. I just was gonna say gotta get some more Fabri-Tac, but honestly, like I was saying before, I don't really know what the difference is. If you guys know what the difference is, certainly let me know. Okay, cover on, and there we go. That's just slips in here, and it comes over the edge like this. So when you slip it in there, like I said, you could open this up and put things inside this pocket, but I'm leaving mine unattached because it'll pull out and you can just use it as a journaling card. Let me do that fold a little better. And then it creates the separate space back here behind this insert where you can put some tags. So I had just grabbed out a couple of tags to stick in there. But you know, I might put a journaling card from the kit that I'm using behind this one, or I might just leave it this way as well if I, you know, want there to be space to journal on top of the page or whatever. So anyway, there we go, guys. Go check out. I'll have linked below Gina, Martina, and Angela, and you can go see what they've done with their 5 on a dime, with their safety pin, button, lace, paper doily, and window envelope. So yeah, guys, thanks for stopping by and watching. Thanks, Gina, for the fun idea. I will see you guys again next month with another 5 on the dime challenge, and we'll see, I think it's maybe Martina picking next month. So we'll see what she chooses for us to craft with. And I will see you again very soon with more craft alongs and stuff like that. But until then, have a good morning, afternoon, evening, middle of the night, wherever it is on this wonderful planet of ours that you reside. And I will see you again very soon. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.